Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, Destination Lifestyle, where dining, eating, shopping, traveling, and indigo tales based on my real supernatural experiences that I'm going to share with you only in this channel. For the past episodes, I have been sharing with you the earliest progress of my interaction with the supernatural. At first, they started slowly, they were not that visible. But as you continue to watch my stories, I try to compile every single experience that I had. You will realize that they're getting more and more visible, physical, and even, the scary part is growing. Well, today I'm going to talk to you about my scary experience, my staycation in Singapore. And this story happens in the mid-90s. At that time, my friends, two of them, let's just say Josh and Brian, they were asking me to go to Singapore for a vacation. And of course, at that point of time, I was told that Brian's friend's friend, which is a friend from Brian, had actually planning to leave her home for 1 week. And so we had the place all to ourselves. So we booked the ticket and we decided to go to Singapore and stay there for 5 days. Now, on the first day that we arrived at the house is actually, in Singapore they would call that a terrace house, which is only one floor. And this is roughly how the layout would look. So, the house itself has different rooms, like a normal home, basically. The first day that we arrived, we realized something was strange. We saw one car, the owner of the house's car, outside, and inside the car there was still laundry packed in plastic wraps and still full. They still are not brought into the house. Okay, so as we entered the house, as you can see, from the main door, you directly see the living room, the TV on the front, on the side, leading to the hallway to the master bedroom. And there's another bedroom and a kitchen. And the dining area will be on this side. Okay? So, that day, on the first day, we were so happy to get free lodging. So, we kind of enjoy the house a little bit. But something on the kitchen counter caught my attention. You see, we were told that the owner, this lady, was supposed to leave the house for 1 week, right? First, we saw the car outside. Everything is still intact with all the laundry bags, laundry still inside. And on the kitchen counter, I saw her car keys, her wallet, her purse, and her identification card. In Singapore, they would call that the Singapore IC, as well as passport. If she were to travel, well, why would anyone, leave the house and we don't see any signs of packing up? That still remains a mystery. But since we were told that it's okay, perhaps she just, did not travel overseas, she just spent some nights out at another friend's place, perhaps, we were not sure. But Brian's friend assured us that everything was okay. So the first night went normal. Now let's go into what happened on the second night. I will zoom in for you the illustration of how the layout of the kitchen would look. So on the second night in the house, as I was planning to cook, this is, for your visual, this is actually the exact same stove. It looks like this, with a cover, a tempered glass, and this kind of a stove. So what happened was, that night I was cooking right on this stove here, on the front stove. So there is nothing used, no fire on for these other two stoves, which means even if there is heat, it's not going to be able to cause damage to the glass. So as I was cooking, suddenly this whole glass broke. And the strange thing was, you see, if it was to break, right, it will fall basically downwards, or at least at most on this part, on the inside, the inner part of the stove. But what happened was, every glass that broke fall directly into the pan, which means that whatever I was cooking at that night became inedible because of all the glass fragments inside the pan. So that is what happened on the second night we stayed at the house. And that night we decided to just order some food, to go out or get some food, some dinner. It still bothered me, but everyone was bothered actually at that point. But we tried not to give it a thought, just that perhaps it's just a coincidence that this thing happened. So that was on the second night. What happened on the second night we were at the house. As you can see in the illustration beforehand, you can see that from the living room, there's a hallway that leads direct to the master bedroom. In that house, I got the guest room actually. So George and Brian, they are cousins, so they were staying in the master bedroom. And I got to stay on the middle room, which is the guest room next to the kitchen. So on the third night, something scary happened. As we came back from our stroll, our fun of walking around Singapore, we came back home and I straight away went into the shower. I think there was about 10 p.m., about 10 something at night. I immediately went to my shower while George and Brian were watching TV on the living room. So when I finished my shower, I get out of my room, and walk towards the living area. As I was walking out, George and Brian, they were walking straight through the hallway, passing me into their bedroom. So they were asking me, "Hey, what are you gonna do?" I told them that I just want to spend some time before going to bed watching TV. I remember that night specifically, the movie that was on was a 1973 movie, Sinbad. It's about Sinbad, I think. Yeah, but it was old movie, but it's always interesting to see the mythological kind of a story. As they were entering their room, and I was going, to the front of the TV, they said something like this: "If you see an ape is actually a Chinese dialect, which means an old uncle, an old man." So they were telling me that if you see an old ape, don't be afraid. Yeah, I was watching the movie, didn't really pay attention to that until it hit me. So I just ran into the room, into the room. They were staying in the master bedroom. Inside, as you can see, this is the layout. So feeling baffled, I kind of went into bed with them. So there were three of us in the bed. And I was positioned closest to the wardrobe. The wardrobe itself has a glass, a mirror kind of doors, sliding doors. Okay, so it was me, and then it was George, and then Brian on the other end. And in the bedroom, as you can see, there was the window sills, window panels on the right side of the bed. And as we were talking, I was trying to find out, what do you mean by old uncle? What is it? Yes, last night, after the incident at the kitchen, as they were watching TV, they said that they saw an old man in pink shirt walking past through the living area into the hallway, straight into their bedroom. I was shocked because, I did not really expect them to tell me that. So right after he said that, suddenly if you remember, I showed you a knob. There was the door to the master bedroom had this rounded knob, which of course when you close it tight, it's not going to be open by itself, right? But before that, door opened, swung open. We heard the knob was like, somebody was trying to open the door. That sound made us look at one another, and we just, huddle up in the blanket. I said, what do you think what was happening, Until the door swung open. There was this gush of wind, and we all felt a bit scared at that moment. And before we could think of anything rational, the bed was made in metal. It had metal frame at the back, just like the movie Exorcist, with 3 of us on top, inside, on the bed. The bed started to shake violently. It started from, gradually became more violent. We were shocked and imagined that happen, And so some of us, one of us started to pray, the other cried, and I was just like, getting very angry. At a certain point, I just, shouted at whatever this thing is, leave us alone. And not long after that, the bed calmed down, settled back down. And as we looked out the window, we saw this old man in pink shirt and shorts. He was now outside the window, going next door. That incident really, terrified us, that we decided to, spend the other 2 days of the holidays out of the house and check into another hotel. What happened was, in the morning, as we were getting out from the house to get into the taxi to go to the new hotel, we were curious. We wanted to see what was next door. Well, there was this. Sometimes the Chinese, when they passed on, they would be cremated. And in some cultures, in some countries, they would have this house of ashes, where they keep the ashes of the dead, so that the family could come and pray for them. It turns out that the next door was the house of ash. It all made sense then. So that was pretty much my encounter with the supernatural during our staycation in Singapore in the mid-90s. All pictures are illustrations only, and I hope you do get the layout and whatever happened, in the house. And like any other hotels, in the next episode, I'm going to share with you my other experiences in several haunted hotels. Thank you so much for watching. I look forward to having you in my next video. If you have anything similar happen to you, or you want to leave your comments below, please do so. Click the like button if you like this video, share the videos, and of course, subscribe. Your support really matters. Until I see you in the next video, bye-bye.